Hey, it's Drybear, and today I want to look through all the things that have been released in Where Winds Meet in the CN version that haven't made their way yet to the launch version, the global version of the game. There's actually a ton of content. Bosses, like at least 8 or 9 different weapons that don't exist in the game right now, new regions, mechanics, all kinds of stuff that is already done and shipped in the CN version, which launched over a year ago at the end of last year, or I guess a little under a year ago, but almost a year ago for the CN version. That's a ton of content, tons of new updates, and things coming for the game that you can get excited about for the game overall. Now keep in mind that a traveling martial artist game is all about discovery, finding the areas, and taking your time. So don't feel like you have to rush through the current content in the game. In fact, I think it's better if you don't. You can actually just find what experiences you like and just explore and wander around and let the moments come to you in Where Winds Meet. But there are some things to be excited about, some new regions, some new areas, and some new content that is going to be really cool once it finally lands into the game. Now, keep in mind that they don't have an official roadmap. There's no like timelines for this. Some of these could be coming in the next month or two. Some of these could be throughout the next year, as it has been in the CN version. But because the content is already made and shipped and QA verified in a different region, it means that they could decide to switch up the release timelines for those. Maybe we get Gauntlets sooner than they did in the CN version. Maybe we get the desert map and the desert region with the new world bosses sooner than they did in the CN version, or maybe they follow the same guidelines. And personally, for me, I wish that they would actually do a little bit more on the promotional front for the global release of the game so we can see kind of what's coming down the pipe. Also, keep in mind, there's a wide mix of qualities here. Some of these come from Chinese trailers from a long time ago. Some of these come from Chinese websites where, you know, I'm an uncultured American. I can't read or write Chinese, so I don't know if there's usernames in here or not. So if you recognize a Chinese content creator that I didn't recognize as a username, drop in the comments and I'd be happy to share credit. It's just I don't recognize it, and a lot of it's just a bunch of different footage all over the place. First thing I want to look at is weapons, because there's actually a bunch of weapons that have been released in the CN version that we haven't seen in the global version yet that are super interesting and super awesome. Things like gauntlets, new rope dart variants, new umbrella variants, new broad blade variants, a lot of really cool stuff in there. The first one I want to show is this umbrella variant, and this one is super cool. There was a bladed umbrella weapon in a Monster Hunter-like game called Wild Hearts, which I genuinely loved. There was a lot of throwing the umbrella, parrying, using the umbrella's blades, spinning and doing attacks like that, and I thoroughly enjoyed it a lot, and it looks like that's what we're getting in Where Winds Meet with this umbrella variant that is unreleased. It's a lot of throwing the umbrella outward, doing damage on the way out and the way back, boomerang, standing on the umbrella, some vortex effects, and some AoE effects, which look really cool, and I think I would be really excited to try out a weapon like this that kind of functions really well inside of the game when you have lots of enemies. I do think that there are more opportunities for gathering enemies, and also I just am super excited by how expressive and creative they've gotten with some of the weapon types and the combinations you can use between them in the game overall. There's also 2 rope dart variants that are on the way as well. One of them has a really cool AoE aesthetic. I mean, almost like you're using, you just like chain whips all over the place, but a lot more AoE focus. So some gathering effects, some vortex effects, but a good amount of AoE. And I think this also, it's kind of what I would expect from a rope dart type weapon. Personally, for me, I've been using a lot of the spears in game and using the 3 different variants of the spears, just kind of combining those together and making my own playstyle from that. And I haven't really enjoyed the rope dart that's in there now too much, but this kind of rope dart variant seems like a really cool addition. There's also like a tank blade and a broad blade variant coming as well. Some of this, you know, some of like the support style, like the fan or like the tank style play styles in the game right now, since I play almost entirely solo, it doesn't really affect me all that much, but it could be super interesting to add more of these to the game. And I think there's a lot of people out there, especially people that are fans of the traditional Souls-like experience or like a Sekiro experience, probably do gravitate to the broad blade playstyles that are in the game now, and getting another one of these and another tank blade too is going to be really fun. I do think the thrown umbrella is one of the highlights for me personally, but the other highlight is the gauntlet weapons on their way, which is going to be really exciting. Not only is it a fist style weapon, I always like my gauntlet playstyles in games like these, but what's cool cool about it is they've added a nice little flourish to it. As you can see from this old footage here, you're gonna see this bird animation flying in. So it's almost like this falconer aspect to it, where you have more of an avian partner that comes in and attacks, and it's part of your, increasing your medium to long range with the gauntlet. Then of course you can use the parries up close and your punch combinations to use the gauntlet that way, but it does have a really cool vibe and aesthetic that I think is gonna be really fresh compared to the weapon types we already have. Next, there's been a lot of teasing and discussing around the desert region as well coming to the game. This one is a nice break. We have a lot of forested, grays, pastels, earthy tones, as well as a lot of green and greenery, and there's a lot that kind of goes into the experience of the core game, but adding the desert region is going to be great because it's an extremely large region with a lot of traversal exploration and parts that make it feel kind of fresh. It does come with sandstorms and weather effects that really fit the region perfectly. There's also this kind of, like, you turn into a giant ghost fish and you go along these tracks around the desert region. This seems like a racing exploration kind of traversal mini game with rewards on it, and you can actually get off this little rainbow road that you're on and for a little bit before it disables, and so you're able to kind of move around through the desert in this form, which is super unique. There's even this ghost ship boss, which just looks super funky. It's like this ghost ship, but it's got like this branch, like this living branch that comes out of it as it travels through the sky, and one of its attacks, it actually summons a moon and throws the moon at you. And what's cool about this is not only does it have a cool aesthetic, but it also allows you to deflect it and send it back, which seems to be connected to this new time manipulation mechanic that they've shown off. Now, the time manipulation mechanic is very like Singularity, Prince of Persia, like, reconstructing destroyed buildings, creating platforms that weren't there before. But some of the footage that I've seen, especially in the trailers, seems like you're going to be able to, in true Where Winds Meet fashion, use this mechanic in combat as well, like sending back projectiles and things like that. Additionally, they've shown off the snow region too, and they've got some pretty cool mechanics on where you walk through the snow and it tamps down. That's always a good tell that they put a little bit extra oomph into the snow, like the soft fallen snow on the top layer, with some cool new enemies and bosses in that region too. And of course, we're getting story expansions, new campaign. A lot of these new regions will have a whole bunch of discovery and exploration aspects, but also core campaign and MSQ as part of the story expansion for the game as well. And if you've been playing Where Winds Meet, you know that a lot of times you might find some random dungeon that has this crazy quest line that you didn't expect to find, or you find some random NPC near a tree on the side of the road and they give you this quest line that has its own story. So as they add new regions, we're gonna get more and more of that. Additionally, we're getting new bosses in the existing regions. There's actually some of these places you can go to and visit right now, even though the bosses aren't in the game. They're just in the game in the CN version, which it makes logical sense that they would bring that to global as well. We've seen footage of this, commander looking guy that has some really cool lightning effects on top of it. This freaky gravekeeper looking dude with the big, chunky coffin log on his shoulder with an arm coming out of it, which looks really funky. And then, in this it's the traveling martial artist. We gotta have the drunken master style character. So we have this guy who's drinking, spirits and spitting them out and breathing fire, and has some really cool drunken effects added to it. And of course, this says nothing about all of the non-gameplay or gameplay adjacent mechanics or content like new battle passes, new events, new menu options, and also new cosmetics if that's what you're into. I know some people are super into the cosmetics in this game. Some of them can be quite pricey considering the RNG aspect of it, but there's also a bunch of those coming along if you want to kind of role play with different characters. But honestly, it has been super exciting to see the reception of this game globally. A lot of people are really enjoying jumping in and running around. To me, it feels like it's got like the exploration aspects of like a Zelda game or a gacha RPG, but it has like the gameplay mechanics and some of the encounter mechanics of like a Sekiro or like a Souls-like game, which all of that blended together creates a really interesting experience as you go through all the different things you can do. But let me know what you think about the game. Are you playing Where Winds Meet? Are you excited about the new content? I personally am very excited about the Gauntlet as well as the Throne Umbrella. The new desert region seems really cool, and of course, more bosses, more challenges, more things to overcome is always a good thing. But let me know what your favorite of these is down below in the comments, and how far you are in Where Winds Meet overall. If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.